Leaked documents reveal Russia is secretly arming China with advanced airborne weapons and elite airdrop tactics, a move that could turn Taiwan's skies into a battlefield overnight. Armoured vehicles raining from the sky, paratroopers trained in Russia's combat-hardened methods. Beijing could soon unleash rapid strike forces with unprecedented precision. As Moscow empowers China's offensive edge, Taiwan faces a looming airborne threat that could upend the balance of power in the Asia-Pacific, and the world is holding its breath. Moscow has agreed to equip and train a Chinese airborne battalion and share its expertise in airdropping armoured vehicles that analysts say could boost Beijing's capacity to seize Taiwan. Military analysts say the agreements give Beijing access to training and technology in one area where Russia still outmatches China, its more experienced airborne troops. According to the Washington Post, Moscow has become increasingly dependent on China for dual-use items to prop up its sanctions-hit military industry and sustain its war in Ukraine. The documents, details of which have been independently verified by the Royal United Services Institute, a British think tank, appear to demonstrate the deepening alliance between Moscow and Beijing as Russia seeks to forge a new global order to counter the West and disrupt the status quo. The 800-page cache, obtained by activist group Black Moon and reviewed by the Washington Post, shows Russia agreeing in October 2024 to sell 37 BMD-4M light amphibious vehicles, 11 Sprut SDM-1 self-propelled anti-tank guns, 11 BTR-MDM airborne armoured personnel carriers to the People's Liberation Army Air Force. The main equipment provision contract, which had a provisional value of $584 million before it was finalized, also included the transfer of several command and observation vehicles and special-purpose parachute systems designed to airdrop heavy loads from high altitudes. Additional documents in the cache show several rounds of negotiations, including a meeting in Beijing in April 2024, at which the Chinese side requested Moscow accelerate the delivery timeline for certain vehicles, include complete technical documentation, and adapt the weaponry to make it compatible with Chinese software, electronic, radio, and navigation systems. Separate documents outlined training programs for Chinese paratroopers in the combat use of the weaponry, and the advanced command and control systems used to direct operations by Russian specialists in Russia and later in China. In its report on the agreements published September 26, RUSI said,
"The training and the transfers described in the files would give China's Air Force expanded air maneuver capability that offered offensive options against Taiwan, the Philippines, and other island states in the regions. Russia is transferring technologies that will allow China to scale up the production of similar weapons and military equipment through localization and modernization."
Jack Watling, Senior Research Fellow for Land Warfare at RUSI, said,
"It is a very good example of how the Russians have become an enabler for the Chinese, making the security challenges of the two countries almost impossible to separate. In a future war over Taiwan, Moscow's supply of oil, gas, and other natural resources, and its large defense industry, could become strategic backup for China."
According to the Associated Press, high-ranking US officials have suggested Xi ordered his military to be prepared for a possible invasion of Taiwan as early as 2027. Beijing claims the self-governing democracy is rightfully a part of China and has not ruled out seizing the island by force. The documents don't mention Taiwan directly, but the analysis by the London-based institute suggests the deal would help China gain advanced parachuting capabilities that it would need to mount an invasion, potentially speeding up a timeline. Alexander Danilyuk suggested Moscow's assistance could help speed up China's airborne program by about 10 to 15 years.
It's not certain that China has decided to invade Taiwan, but access to Russian equipment and localized training in China means Beijing will be better equipped for a potential invasion. The Chinese School of Airborne Landing is very young. The greatest value of the deal to China is likely in the training and procedures for command and control of parachute forces, because Russia has combat experience.
For China, Russia's airdrop expertise and weaponry is most valuable as part of preparations for a potential invasion of Taiwan, analysts said. Lyle Goldstein, an expert on the Chinese and Russian militaries at Brown University, who is writing a book on China-Russia military ties, said,
Chinese planners consider small, well-equipped units delivered by helicopter or aircraft absolutely essential in their plans to deliver thousands of troops to Taiwan in the early hours of a conflict. They have studied D-Day backward, forward, and upside down, and realized that it would have failed without an airborne component. That makes Russian experience in Ukraine even more valuable for Beijing. And right now, Russia will do more or less anything to keep China happy and cooperative.
The Kremlin did not respond to a request for comment on the deal. Similarly, neither China's Ministry of Defense nor state-owned defense contractors involved in the deals responded to requests for comment. While China has so far declined to provide military hardware at scale for Russia's war effort, the two countries have continued to celebrate a close security partnership that both consider important for countering the US and its allies. For Taiwan, Russian support for China's already significant airborne attack capabilities intensifies concerns that Beijing could seize infrastructure inland even as it storms ports and beaches along the coast. A Taiwanese security official commenting on the Russia-China deals said,
Military cooperation between China and Russia goes far beyond what has been publicly acknowledged.
Taiwan has tracked Russian provision of an advanced paratrooper command system to China, and its military is prepared to respond effectively, the official said, speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss internal security assessments. Over the past year, Xi and Russian President Vladimir Putin have attended each other's military parades. Earlier this month, Chinese military representatives attended Russia and Belarus' Zapad 2025 war games, where Russia demonstrated the high-altitude airdrops of heavy equipment that China, according to the agreements, is seeking to replicate. The agreement will give Beijing the opportunity to take Russian technology and apply it to its own weapons. Su Tzu-yun, a director at the Institute for National Defense and Security Research, a Taiwanese think tank, said,
Previously, China's lack of ability to deliver troops in large numbers and maintain logistical support were considered weaknesses. But if Russia is providing technical support, that will be a bigger challenge for Taiwan's anti-landing operations.
Faced with intensifying Chinese aggression and uncertain support from the Trump administration, Taiwan has boosted military spending and focused on training to repel a potential invasion. This year's annual exercises involved practicing shooting down a Chinese airborne attack on the island's main Taoyuan International Airport, a location Chinese military commentators have flagged as key for breaking through Taiwanese defences. Leaked Pentagon assessments from 2023 ruled Taiwan's air defences especially vulnerable to missile strikes that could cede air superiority to China early in a conflict.